forces?
4 sharp forces.
All of them on the neck?
Yes, sir.
And you said there was one in front, and what was the distribution of the other wounds?
But they were all in the front part of the neck, except for one slash that started on the left side of the neck and kind of merged into the front. So they're generally involving the front part of the neck all.
Did you find any other evidence of injury or trauma anywhere else, other than the superficial wound you told us about?
Yes.
Did you arrive at a cause and manner of death, an opinion as to cause and manner of death?
Yes, sir. The cause of death was sharp force trauma of the neck, and the manner of death is homicide because by the findings that were present on the body of the deceased, it was indicative that it demonstrated someone else's purposeful act in the first place.
As a result of looking at the wounds that you found, can you tell us anything or offer any opinion as to the implement that was used to inflict the wounds?
It seems that it was a single sharp edge object like a knife, but I cannot exclude or include the possibility of that edge being serrated to some extent. So that's the limitation of it, because of basically the predominant injuries were slashes, and that's the contact of the sharp edge of the skin and soft tissues and structures underneath. So that does not leave much of a pattern in the first place.
So the sharp-edged item could have been either serrated or non-serrated.
Yeah, I cannot exclude either of the possibilities.
All right. Can I approach the witness, please, sir?
Yes.
Doctor, this is People's Proposed Exhibit Number 7 for identification. Is there a copy of your report in this case?
I have a copy of the report. I have no objection for exam purposes. Was it 7? 7. 7 is admitted.
Item 7 will be received based on that stipulation.
Thank you. After those are all the questions I have. Thank you. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, sir.
I just have a few questions, Doctor.
Sure, sir.
Based on your external examination, you determined that the cause of death was knife wounds basically to the neck.
That's correct.
But you did do an external examination looking for something that you've commonly referred to as defensive wounds, didn't you?
That's correct.
And that would be wounds that might be on the hands, which would show somebody grabbed the knife or there was some evidence of a struggle.
That type of possibility is always there, but since there was no evidence on either of the arms or upper arms, forearms, or hands, or the lower extremities, for that matter, there was no evidence of defense activity.
So what you're saying is your findings indicated your clinical findings found that there were no defensive wounds anywhere in the body.
That is correct.
Now, you also did an examination of the genitalia.
That's correct.
It's contained in the autopsy report, and I believe. Thank you, Ben.
I just want to talk to you for a second.
Okay.
Judge,
I don't have a choice.
I understand. Judge, can we approach the bench for a moment, please?
Sure.
Dumpster site? Okay. And as you testified, you sifted through the contents of a dumpster at the site. Oh, okay. All right. Now, when you came across, you say you came across a blade, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. You indicated that your initial, when you first saw the blade, you initially didn't think that it was used in a homicide.
Well, it was just a little piece of metal.
Okay, so was that based on the size of the blade that you came across?
Right. I mean, it was a small piece of metal. So, you know, it didn't really look until I saw the handle I didn't really know what I was looking at.
Okay. Because in, the information that you had was there was a fatal stabbing, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you were looking possibly to find a knife or something that would have been used as a fatal stabbing. Would that be a fair statement? I mean, that's what you were sifting for.
Yeah, we got information that there was the knife that was used in the incident was broken,
Right.
and that it was thrown in the garbage.
Okay. All right. Okay, I don't believe I have any further questions.
Anything else?
When you went to the liquor store at 8100 East Forest, were there only one dumpster at that time?
Yeah.
And when you were sifting through the garbage with your overall boots and rake, how long were you doing that in total time? Would you say?
Maybe a half hour, maybe.
And you indicated earlier through cross-examination that you had information that a knife was broken.
Correct.
Okay. So when you found the handle and the knife blade, did you come to a conclusion that that was the broken knife in your own mind? Nothing further.
Anything else?
Nothing further.
Thank you. You can step down. You're free to go. Call your next witness.
Thank you, Judge. Maybe a cross-examination.
Oh, sure.
Fine, that's fine, that's fine.
If you did it afterwards, you don't want any objection.
I'm going to go there now because of issues.
It's not husband, knows because I've talked to him. It's the husband is asking me to do what I can to avoid having the media content.
So let's just exclude it from the agenda.
Okay, we're going to close the courtroom for a minute, so we're going to ask everybody who is not a witness, not the defendant, or to leave, and we'll bring you back in a few minutes. Yep, I need two guys from the press.
Well, tell them I'll do this sentencing on 11:30. Tell them both.
Okay.
See what reaction that gets. Members of the press are trying to find the lawyers.
Thank you, Judge. The man that you've identified now in the orange, do you recall when you first started seeing him?
I saw him only once, probably sometime in January or sometime.
Okay, January of 2016?
Yeah, 2016.
Let's talk about March 21st of this year. Were you at home in Troy that day?
No, I was not at home on that day.
Where were you?
I was on an official business trip to GM Korea.
And when had you left for your trip to Korea?
I left on 11th of March,
And when were you expected home?
24th of March.
And at some point you received a phone call and you were told to go home because there was a problem at home?
Yeah,
How long were you and your wife married?
close to 12 years.
12 years?
Yeah.
Was there some type of jewelry or something that she wore to signify that she was married?
Yeah.
Will you tell the court what that was, please?
That's called as a Mangal Sutra. That's the chain what we wear when we say we are married. So my wife was wearing one, and it's it has a tali in that.
Let me step you there just for a second. The spelling on the necklace part of it, Mangalsutra.
Yeah, that's right.
And there was a
something on the necklace as well that is called a tally?
Yeah, that's called tally.
T-H-A-L-I?
Yeah.
And were there something else on it other than the tally?
There are two more pendant along with that, with the goddess Lakshmi in that. Yeah.
Okay, so the tally and the two other items, they were like pendants on the necklace?
Correct.
And is it the equivalent of a wedding ring?
Yes, it's equivalent.
Would your wife ever take it off?
No, we never take it off.
Once you're married?
Yes.
She never takes it off?
We never take it off.
May I approach witness, please, Judge?
Okay,
This is People's Proposed Exhibit Number 1. Defense counsel has a copy of it. Sir, would you take a look at that for me, please?
Yeah.
Do you recognize that?
Yeah.
Will you tell the judge what that is?
This is the Mangal Sutra of my wife.
Judge, I'm going to move for the admission of People's Proposed Number 1, please.
No objection, for example.
all right, the exhibit will be admitted into evidence.
Approach bench, please.
Please. Thank you.
At some point, you were asked to look at a picture of the necklace after you got back and found out that your wife was dead. You were asked to look at a picture of the necklace, is that right?
Yeah.
Or a picture of a necklace. Were you shown that by Detective Schuler or one of the other officers?
Yeah.
The picture that you looked at, did you recognize it?
Yeah.
What was it?
It was the same picture what saw now.
The one that you just saw,
Yeah.
number 1?
Correct.
Okay. Excuse me one second. This is People's Proposed Exhibit Number 2. I've shown a copy of this to defense counsel. Would you tell us what that is, please?
This is the house key which my wife carries.
Those are your wife's house keys?
Yeah.
And how is it that you recognize those?
She had a keychain with a Tweety doll in that one.
And People's Proposed Number 3, will you tell me what that is, please?
Yeah, this is our wristwatch and our earrings.
Your wife's wristwatch and earrings?
Yes.
Okay, excuse me one second.
I have no objection for exam purposes.
To which exhibits?
Number 2 and number 3, 2 is a keychain,
Right.
and 3 is a watch and earrings.
Court will receive them into evidence.
May I approach bench, please, Judge?
Thank you.
Sir, did you have a PlayStation in your home?
Yeah, we did have one.
When did you buy that?
We brought during the Thanksgiving Day, November 26,
November of 2016?
2015. Yeah,
I'm sorry, 2015.
Yeah.
And who did that belong to?
it belonged to us.
Do you have children?
Yeah,
How old are they?
they are 10 years and 7 years.
When you came back, when you got back from Korea, did you go to the apartment?
Yeah, I did go.
And when you got there, was the PlayStation still there or was it gone?
It wasn't there.
And where had you kept it in the home?
It was right next to the TV in the living room.
It was there when you left to go to Korea?
Yep, it was.
Okay, excuse me. Those are all the questions I have, Judge. Thank you, sir.
Cross-examine.
Yes. I don't want to put you, Mr. J. Prakash,
Yep.
did I say it right?
Yeah, that's right.
All right. You work for General Motors, am I correct?
Yeah, that's right.
And what happened was, you were sent overseas to Korea,
Yep.
and when did you go to Korea?
11th of March.
Okay, so you left March 11th of 2016,
Yep.
and then you get called home because of the unfortunate death of your wife, roughly March the 27th. Am I right?
Yeah,
And during that period of time, you're in Korea and your wife is here.
yeah,
And so what your wife is doing here, you really don't know because you're in Korea. Fair statement? Is that yes?
yeah.
You have to say yes or no or answer any way you want because the court reporter has to take it down. You just can't go when you're not. Fair enough?
Yep.
Okay. And the items that the prosecution has shown you, you say those come from your wife?
That's right.
Right. But what she might have done or did with them, you don't know, do you? In other words, you don't know if she gave them to anybody, do you?
She would not give it. I know she would not give that.
You were not here, were you?
I was not here, but I do talk to her over phone every day.
But you were not here
That's right.
between March 11th and March 22nd, am I right?
That's right.
No further questions?
Mr. Pernick, anything else you wish to ask?
Just briefly, if I would. Sir, just a moment ago, you told us that your wife would not have given away the Mangal Sutra
Yep.
or her, well, first of all, why wouldn't she have given that away to anybody?
That's something, it's part of our culture that once a Mangal Sutra is put across the neck, nobody removes it. The only reason it can be removed is when the husband dies.
Would she have ever sold it to anybody?
No. If you have to remove it, there are the process how to remove it. There is usually a priest which will come and do some ritual to remove that, and then there will be a replacement Mangal Sutra put there and then remove. It's not a directly just take it off. There is a ritual to follow which we do that. And we have never removed that from our neck.
What about the watch or earrings?
The earrings, she does remove it. She keeps changing the earrings to match her dresses.
And what about giving those away?
She would not give it away to anyone because she would share with my daughter, but she won't give it out.
Thank you, that's all I have.
No further questions?
Thank you, sir. You may step down. Watch your step as you go down. There's an angle there in the floor.
Can I call Carissa Farmer next, please? And you just step right here so quick and sweet.
Just need you to raise your right hand to be sworn in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. You can have a seat.
Please. Frank?
Thank you, Judge. Will you tell us your name, please, and spell your first and last name?
Carissa Farmer, Corissa. Farmer, Farmer.
Thank you. And will you tell the court what you do for a living, please?
I do loans at American Jewelry
And where's that located?
in Detroit on 8 Mile and Grapefield.
And were you working there on March 21st of 2016?
Yes.
Did there come a time when you processed a transaction with a person by the name of Charles Stevens?
It's actually
Or
Stephens.
Pardon me. If you
Yes.
saw that person again, would you recognize him?
Yeah.
Is he present in the courtroom today?
Yep.
Would you point to him, please, and describe something that he's wearing?
He's wearing orange.
Thank you. Indicating for the record, Your Honor, the witness is identified in the defendant's
Record will reflect it.
And how is it that the process at the store works?
You take in a loan by, you have to weigh it up, and you have to get their ID, you have to get their thumbprint. You have to make sure it's them, clearly. And then you just go by the weight of the gold or the diamonds.
All right, Judge, can I approach the bench, please, and get my exhibits back?
You may.
Thank you, Judge. Now, the transaction that you had with the defendant, what did that involve? Do you remember?
What do you mean? What did it involve?
Well, what happens when you interact with him?
He was just loud and rambunctious.
Okay, and did he want to pawn something? Did he want to buy
Yeah,
something?
he wanted to pawn it at first, and then when we did the transaction, he changed his mind and told us that he wanted to sell it. He wanted to sell it for $1,500, but we got him down to $1,250.
This item that he wanted to pawn and then sell, can you describe it for us, please?
It was 22 karat. It had 3 charms on it. It was a necklace, and they looked like religious charms, like Buddha or something.
Was the material appear to be gold to you, or did the material appear to be gold to you?
Yeah, 22 karat.
May I approach you with this, please, sir?
Yes.
This is People's Exhibit number 1. Can you tell me whether you recognize that photograph or not?
Yeah,
What is it?
that's the item he sold.
Okay. What's the difference between a pawn and a sale?
A pawn, you can get back a buy that it's ours.
All right. And by buying, meaning you're buying it from the customer?
Yep.
Okay. How much did you give Mr. Steffens for the chain that he sold you?
$1,250.
And do you recall about what time it was that the defendant first came to your window?
Mid-afternoon.
And about how long did it take to process the transaction?
It was probably about 15 minutes to a half hour.
And originally you said that he was going to pawn it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, you have to use words when you answer, so the court reporter.
Yes.
And then he decided that he wanted to sell it.
Yes.
Did he tell you why he changed his mind in that regard?
He thought he could get more money for it.
And would that be true?
Yes.
What's the difference between the value of a pawn versus a sale?
Not by much, but he asked for a low price to begin with, and then he went high again, but we were able to meet him halfway.
And you said that that was how much again?
$1,250.
And how did you pay that out to them in cash?
Cash.
Do you recall what denomination?
No.
Excuse me one moment. Thank you, then those are all questions I have.
Mr. Skorda, do you have any questions on the
Yes.
cross-examination?
Thank you. Hello, Ms. Farmer.
Hi.
Are you nervous? You don't be nervous. Just relax, because I see you shaking a lot.
Yeah.
You're kind of nervous, right?
Yeah.
Don't be nervous. You work for Let's Go, huh?
I do.
Huh? I went to high school at Let's Go,
Oh, did you?
a long time ago. So you're employed over at American Jewelry at home,
Yes.
and you work behind the counter where they have the glass.
Yep.
And that's where people come and either pawn items or they sell items.
Yes.
And you know Mr. Steffens.
I do.
He's been there many times.
Yes.
And so he is easily identifiable to you.
Yes.
And he comes into the store, according to your pawn record, on March the 21st.
Yes.
And that would be a Monday, right?
Yes.
Remember? Mm-hmm. You have to say yes
Yes.
or no, or answer any
Yes.
way you want. And he comes into the store, he's going to pawn some items,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, and the pawn then turns into a transaction where those items are sold.
Yes.
And when he comes into the store and he sells those items, he gives you identification, doesn't he?
Yes.
So he tells you he's Charles Steffens, am I right?
Yes.
And you knew him anyways as Charles Steffens.
Yes.
So he didn't do anything to conceal his identity, did he?
No.
To hide himself from you, did he?
No.
Anything which would say, we're saying, don't say I'm Charles Steffens, am I right?
Right.
And then when you complete the sale transaction, he has to give you a fingerprint.
Yes.
And you take and you put a fingerprint on the transaction itself, am I right?
Yes.
And that would be his fingerprint,
Yep, his thumbprint.
his thumbprint. So that also clearly identifies him, doesn't it?
Yes.
Now, when he came in sometime on the 21st.
Yes.
Do you remember the time?
Mid-afternoon,
Okay, 1, 2 o'clock?
about 2-ish.
And he stayed there for a half hour.
Yes.
Well,
It took a little longer.
It took at least a half hour for you to do the transaction.
Yes, because he kept changing his mind.
So he was there for about an hour. Maybe?
Maybe.
Okay, he didn't conceal himself or run around, did he?
No.
Okay, and during the time that he was there, you've seen him on how many occasions? Would you say?
2, I've dealt with him. This one and one before.
You've seen him more than 2 times?
I can't remember. I see 1,000 people a day.
And a lot of people come in there, some people are under the influence of alcohol,
Yes.
and some people are kind of high in drugs, am I right?
Yes.
You made a determination based on your dealing with Mr. Steffens that he was either very drunk or high.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
You reached that conclusion, didn't you?
Yes.
Tell us why you reached that conclusion.
He was just, like, he couldn't stand still. He was all over the place. He left my line at one point, And then he came back and he was singing to me and he was serenading me.
But they offered to tip you, didn't they?
Yeah,
And that, you don't take tips, do you?
we do.
You do. Did you take the tip?
No, he took it back.
Oh, he took it back. All right. And the other thing you wanted to do was talk to Les Gold, am I right?
Oh, yeah.
Because he said Les was a real friend of his, yes?
Yes.
So what you're telling us is he came in sometime in the afternoon, pawned items, am I right?
Yeah, well, we bought them, but
He
yes.
bought those items, and he clearly identified himself too.
Yes.
Never concealed himself.
No.
And then he sometime left the store.
Yes.
Now, where he got those items from, we don't know.
I have no idea.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Purdy, anything on Bigby?
Just one question, if I would. Despite the fact that you might have seen him before, you asked him for identification? Mm-hmm. He gave you a driver's
Yes.
license? Sorry, you have to
Yes.
use words when you
Yes.
He gave you a driver's license?
Yes.
And would you have been able to process the transaction if he didn't give you a driver's license?
Yes, because he's in our system.
Okay. What about if he refused to allow his fingerprint to be taken?
No.
So in order to sell the chain to you, he had to agree to be fingerprinted?
Yes.
Okay, or at least one finger in the thumb?
Yeah, the thumb, the right thumbprint.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
So what you're saying is, in order for the transaction to occur, he's got to clearly identify himself,
Yes.
and he knows it.
Yes.
Well, you don't know what he knows, Judge, so I'll object to that.
Sustained.
Based on your experience with him, he's pawned items before, am I right?
Yes.
That's a process that happens when you go into your pawn shop.
Yes.
Thank you.
No, I'll say.
Thank you, you may step down. Who's next?
May I witness to you, Judge?
Yes?
Officer Ryder, please.
Ma'am, if you could please raise your right hand to be sworn in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Please have a seat.
Proceed, Judge.
Please.
Thank you. Would you tell us your name, please, spell your last name?
Melissa Raymer, Raymer.
And you're a Troy police officer?
Yes,
And you're on duty on the afternoon of March 21st of this year?
yes, I was.
Do you have occasion to be sent to the area of 2343 Gulfview, apartment 102?
Yes.
And what was the nature of the run there?
I was sent to a medical call for an unresponsive female.
And once you got there, were you met by any other officers?
Yes, Officer Youngkari had arrived on the scene a few minutes prior to me.
And what did you and Officer Youngkari do?
She advised me that the apartment was secure. We were going to have to force the door. So we went in, she kicked the door, and then we entered the apartment.
And what, if anything, did you find when you went in there?
We found a female that was in a bedroom lying on her back. It was apparent that she was deceased. There was a laceration to her throat and a large amount of blood near her head.
And in terms of the room that she was found in, can you tell us what room the apartment was, or describe for us which bedroom it was, if you can?
It appeared to be a children's bedroom.
All right. And can you describe it from the entranceway, if you would come in the entrance and describe where in the apartment the room was?
We entered the apartment, and when we got to the hallway, we turned right. It was the second door on the left.
And from there, having found that the woman was obviously deceased, you asked for other officers, including investigators?
Yes.
Thank you. And those are all the questions I had. Thank you, Officer.
Officer Rainey, you received a radio call to go to a location because there might be a distressed person. Would that be your first name?
Yes.
When you rode there, you ride it by yourself, I'm assuming. You got to say yes or
Yes.
no anywhere you want. When you go home, they can't take you down. Okay?
Yes.
All right. So Officer Youngkari was already there.
Yes, she was.
And so when you get to the location, you were sent to a specific apartment, number 102, am I right?
Yes.
And when you got to number 102, you went to the door that entered that apartment on the interior of the building, didn't you?
Yes.
You were not able to do that. Am I right?
Right.
The door was locked.
Yes, it was.
Okay. And you've been a police officer for how long?
Since May of 2008.
All right, so you've been a policeman for about 7 or 8 years. Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay, you know when doors are broken into, there's damage to the door, am I right?
Yes.
You didn't see any damage to the apartment door 102, did you?
No.
So what happened was you had to go around and go through another apartment to take a look, am I right?
I did not do that.
Officer Curry did that.
She did.
Okay, were you still outside the apartment door 102 is when she did that?
She did that prior to my arrival.
And then you made a determination that you had to get into the apartment, am I right?
Yes.
And so you and Officer Curry did, what she did was she broke the door.
Yes.
She kicked the door in.
Yes, she did.
And that's where the damage came to the door 102.
Yes.
Because prior to that, there was no damage to that door.
Correct.
In fact, the door was locked.
Yes.
Now, you're familiar, did you look at the door when you entered the apartment through the 102 door?
After she kicked the door? No, I didn't.
Did you notice whether it had a lock on the bottom?
No.
Did you notice whether it had a deadbolt on top?
Not right after we entered the apartment.
Did there come a time when you noticed there was a deadbolt?
Yes.
Okay. And then there come a time when you also noticed there was a door lock on the bottom?
Yes.
Now, the door lock on the bottom was obviously locked.
Yes.
That's why you two had to kick the door in, am I right?
Yes.
Because the deadbolt wasn't locked, was it?
There was no damage to the deadbolt.
Only damage to the bottom.
Yes.
Right, so you don't know whether the deadbolt was locked or not, do you?
No, I don't.
Thank you.
Mr. Frank, anything else?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
You may step back.
Could I call Officer Colick?
If you could please raise your right hand to be sworn in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Please have a seat.
So will you tell us your name, please, and spell your last name?
Tim Colick, C-O-L-L-I-C-K.
And you're an Auburn Hills police officer?
Yes, I am.
You're assigned to work with Troy Police Special Investigations Unit?
Yes.
Are you also deputized?
Yes, I am.
All right, as an Oakland County Sheriff's Deputy?
Correct.
Were you involved, pardon me, in the investigation of a homicide which occurred in the city of Troy on March 21st of this year?
Yes, I was.
Did there come a time when you were assigned to go and try to locate and arrest a Charles Steffens?
Yes.
And you participate in that?
Yes, I did.
Did you participate in the arrest of Mr. Steffens?
Yes.
You saw him again, would you recognize him?
Yes.
Is he present in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Could you point to him, please, and describe something that he's wearing?
At the table there, wearing the orange shirt.
Thank you. Your Honor, may the record reflect that witness has identified the defendant in this matter.
Record will reflect that.
Okay, thank you, Judge. Officer, you went to a particular address in Detroit, is that right?
Yes.
In order to find the defendant and arrest him?
That's correct.
Would you describe the arrest process for us, please?
Entry team was formed. We entered a side door of the house with a key that was provided by a resident from the house. There was, I believe, 8 of us that entered the house. 2 of us initially searched the first floor bedrooms, while 2 others went upstairs. I then joined the 2 that went to the upstairs floor. At that time, made contact with Mr. Stevens.
And where was Mr. Stevens when you were first making contact with him?
At that time, when I got to the top of the stairs, he was laying face down on the floor with another police officer standing over top of him.
And is he then handcuffed?
Yeah, me and the officer then handcuffed him.
And at some point is he searched?
Yes.
And when does that occur?
We walked him back downstairs into the kitchen and searched him in the kitchen.
Does he at some point ask you to retrieve his cell phone?
Yes.
And is that the result of a question you ask him, or does he say that?
He asked if we would retrieve it for him.
And did he tell you where the cell phone could be found?
He said it was upstairs on a dresser charging.
Did you go and get it, or did another officer go and get it?
Another officer there went and got it.
At some point, do you search him?
Yes.
Pardon me, what time is it that you go in the house to arrest him, do you recall?
It was about 10 p.m. when we entered the house.
On what day? 22nd or the 21st?
22nd of March.
So it's the day after the homicide is discovered.
Correct.
And you go in the house, he's arrested, and my question was, did you search him or did you participate in the search of him?
I searched him in the kitchen.
Okay. Do you recall what, if anything, you found when you searched him?
Yes, in his coat pocket, I retrieved a set of keys that had a Tweety bird figure attached to it, some women's jewelry, a watch, a pair of earrings. There was money in his pocket. His pants pocket had some other items, cab company business cards, American jewelry card, some change and lighters.
Do you recall about how much cash there was?
About $160.
Do you know what denominations it was in?
I believe all 20s, if I remember correct.
May I approach witness, please, Judge?
Yes.
Officer, these are People's Exhibits 2 and 3. Can you tell us what those are, please?
These are the items that I removed from his coat pocket.
Okay, People's Exhibit number 2, what's that?
Number 2 is a set of keys with a Tweety bird figure attached to it.
And do you recall where he had those keys in his coat pocket? Which pocket it was?
The left front coat pocket.
And then People's Exhibit number 3, can you tell us what that is, please?
That's the woman's watch and woman's pair of earrings that are removed from the same coat pocket.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Those are all the questions I have. Thank you, Officer.
Mr. Sabota?
Yes. Officer Collick, I guess you're part of an entry team that goes to Ardmore Street in Detroit?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and that was on March the 22nd?
Yes.
And that would be, it was late at night, was it not?
About 10 p.m.
10 p.m. So this is the day after the so-called homicide that's occurred.
Correct.
And you receive information that Mr. Steffens may be at that address.
Yes.
So an entry team was formed as part of this SIE. Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
And there's 8 officers that are involved going out to that address.
Correct.
And then someone runs into an individual by the name of Mrs. Mack, and she gives you a key to go into the other part of the address. Am I right?
Yes, that's right.
Did Mrs. Mack give you the key or give it to another officer?
To another officer.
Remember who was Officer Stupczynski? Did I say that right?
I thought it was a different one, but I'm not for sure who.
Who do you recall?
I thought that it was Sergeant Lemilza that was given the key.
All right, and everybody, when they make an entry, they have a specific job.
Right. Right. Yes.
And that's for the safety of all the officers involved.
Yes.
Now, you had never met Mr. Steffens before.
No, I have not.
And so you went searching for him, and you found him basically in custody of another officer.
Yes, that's right.
And then you took him down to the kitchen,
Yes.
and you searched him.
Yes.
And when you threw his pockets, you found the exhibits that they showed you, a set of keys,
Yes.
a woman's watch,
Yes.
earrings,
Yes.
$160 in cash,
Yes.
not $1,250 in cash.
No.
You saw a 16-ounce beer,
Yes, there was.
and that was all in his pockets.
Correct.
Now, you don't know when he became in possession of those items, do you?
No, I don't.
All you know is at the time that you searched him on March the 22nd, at about 10 o'clock, 10:30 that night, that's what you found.
That's right.
How he came in possession, you don't know.
I don't know.
You never saw him go in an apartment 102 at the Somerset Apartments, did you?
No, I didn't.
Your process or your involvement is basically to arrest somebody the day after based on information.
Yes, that's what I did.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's not, I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying what your participation was you're part of the team that goes and makes an arrest.
Right, that's what.
And what happened on the day before, you weren't present.
No, I was not.
Thank you.
Redirect.
I'm not going to redirect.
Thank you, you may step down.
Can I have a moment with Mr. Stewart?
If you wish.
Yeah. Judge, can I have a moment and speak with our friends from the media?
A moment.
I will.
Okay.
I won't.
May I call my next witness, please, Judge?
Yes.
That's Tony Stephens, please.
And ma'am, before you sit, please raise your right hand to be sworn in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Please have a seat.
May I, Judge? Thank you.
Yes.
Would you tell us your name, please? Spell your first and last name.
Tonya Stephens, TONIA STEPHENS.
Thank you. And you're married to the defendant in this case, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. I want to talk about a couple of things preliminarily. You realize that, and this is because we talked about this morning, you have a right not to testify against the defendant if you don't want to.
Right.
Do you understand that? Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. And you have a right not to testify if your testimony would tend to incriminate yourself, what's called the Fifth Amendment right not to testify. And you can decide to assert those rights if you want to, not to testify, and the judge will say that you can be excused and you don't have to testify.
Okay.
Do you understand that?
Yes.
Do you have any questions about that?
No.
Do you intend to testify here today by waiving your right not to testify against the defendant and waiving your right under the Fifth Amendment and agree to testify?
Oh, I'm agreeing to testify.
Okay. Do you understand that by doing that, you're waiving your rights under the Fifth Amendment and under the right not to testify against your husband? Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any questions at all?
No.
Do you have any questions for the judge?
No.
Okay.
Your Honor, I would ask her whether or not she wants to talk to a lawyer before she makes this decision, which is independent of the prosecutor.
I'm fine with that question being asked too, Judge. I will. You can, if you want to, ask to talk to a lawyer and ask that lawyer any questions about your right not to testify under the Fifth Amendment or your right not to testify against the defendant. You can do that before you testify. Do you want to talk to a lawyer first?
No.
Okay, so are you ready to go ahead and answer any questions
Yes.
that we ask you? Okay. Judge, I think that she's waived her rights then. She's indicated she doesn't want to talk to an attorney. We're ready to proceed.
Any questions I can answer for you?
No, I'm ready.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Judge.
Go ahead, Mr. Frank.
Thank you. How long have you been married to the defendant?
Since 2010.
And just so the record's clear, the person that I've called Charles Stephens, is he present in the courtroom today?
Yes, he's sitting right over there.
Would you point to him, please, and describe something that he's wearing?
He's wearing orange.
Okay, thank you. Your Honor, indicated for the record the witness has identified the defendant.
Record will reflect it.
In March of this year, March 21st of this year, where were you living?
On Golfview.
And what address were you in, do you know?
Not right off hard, that address.
Do you know what apartment number you were in?
101?
Do you know the people who live across the hall in 102?
No, I don't know the people.
Had you seen the people?
No, I have seen a lot of people come out the building, so I don't know exactly who stayed in that apartment. No.
The building that you were in, was it 2343 Gulfview?
Yes.
Apartment number 1?
Yes.
And you know that there were people that lived across the hall in 102, or you don't know?
I don't know the people. I just know that, it's a lot of people that came in and out the building, so I came out, so I don't exactly remember who stayed across the hall.
Let's talk about the morning of March 21st, the day that the woman's body was discovered across the hall.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see your husband that morning?
Yes, I seen him that morning.
And did he leave the apartment sometime that day?
Yes.
Who did you live at the apartment with?
His mother and him and two other, Christopher and Sheila.
And how long had you lived there before? Well, first of all, how long had you two lived there?
Not long. I've been there, I had left off and on.
Okay.
Okay, so.
And so on March 21st, the morning of March 21st, who was home there?
Me, him, and his mother.
And by him, you mean the defendant?
Yes.
What name do you know him by? What do you call him?
Chucky.
Chucky. Is there some point at which Chucky leaves that morning?
Yes.
What time is it that he leaves?
I say it's around probably 9:30 or 10:30. I don't know exactly what time, but it's somewhere around 9:30, 10:30.
Did he tell you where he was going?
No, just said he was leaving and he'd be back.
And did he come back?
Yes.
About how long after he left did he come back?
It didn't seem like long, but I couldn't say. I just know I had been taking Benadryl, so I don't know how long exactly, but it didn't seem like long enough, because he was getting on my nerves.
Were you in the bedroom? Your bedroom,
Yes.
that is?
Mhm.
You and he, I'm sorry, you have to use words when you answer so the court reporter can record.
Okay.
You and he had a bedroom there in the apartment?
Yes.
And were you in the bedroom when he left?
Yes.
Were you in the bedroom when he came back?
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about how he looked when he came back. How did he look when he came back to the apartment?
He was kind of like out of breath a little bit.
And did he come into the bedroom?
Yes.
Were you there in the bedroom?
Yes.
Was there anybody else in the bedroom there with you?
No, just me.
You said that he was out of breath a little bit.
Yeah.
Did he say anything to you?
Yeah, he said shit just got real. He said, I just killed 2 people, a man and a woman.
Is that what he said?
That's what came out of his mouth.
Okay. Tell me again what he said, please.
He said, shit just got real. I just killed 2 people, a man and a woman. He said, a man put up a struggle. He said, a woman didn't. And he said, I might have left some DNA on her. And then he laughed and said, my dick got hurt.
Let me stop you there for a moment. Did he tell you where this had happened?
He didn't say where. He did say it was close. That's all he kept saying.
Did you ask him specifically where it had happened?
He did say close.
Okay. Did he tell you how it was that he killed either of the 2 people?
He didn't say how he killed them. He just said that he killed 2 people.
And other than saying it was close, did he give you any other indication where it was?
No.
Now, did he do anything other than say these words to you?
After he said that, he pulled a big ass knife out of his jacket, threw it on the bed, then he threw a game system on the bed.
Okay, let me stop you there for a moment. You said he pulled a knife out of his jacket?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, you have to answer with words. The court reporter has to record your answers, so she has to have either yes or no, or any way you want to answer. Okay. So let me ask you again about the knife. Did he take this knife out of his jacket?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
Yes, he took the knife out of his jacket. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Okay.
Which side of his jacket did he have it, you know?
I don't know. I just know that I remember seeing a big old knife being pulled up out of his jacket, and he tossed it on the bed. And there wasn't no blood or nothing on it.
Did he tell you to do anything?
Yes, he said, take the knife and clean it with bleach. I looked for a minute because, I was in a state of shock. I was just looking. I didn't get up right off or nothing. I sat there. He said, what you still sitting there for? Get your ass up and take care of what I said. And I still sat there, because I was still in shock, like this, in disbelief. And then not only that, he kept saying that he pulled the clothes down. Why would you pull their clothes down? I was saying to myself in my head.
When you saw the knife, you said that you have a chance to look at it, it doesn't have any blood on it.
It had no blood on it.
Okay, and he told you to clean it with bleach?
He said clean it with bleach.
Did you do that?
Yes, I did.
Where did you do that?
In the bathroom.
And is it, the bathroom, is it attached to the bedroom that you're in, or was it another bathroom?
It's in the hallway.
Were you afraid while that's happening?
Yes, I was afraid.
What were you afraid of?
That he was going to kill me.
The knife that you clean with bleach, does he tell you how to do that?
He just say clean the knife with bleach. He just say take the bleach and clean it good with bleach.
And where did you get the bleach from?
Out the hallway closet.
And after you cleaned the knife off, did he come back to look at it or to see what you were doing?
No.
After you cleaned the knife off, what did you do with it?
Before I even left out the room, I was trying to put clothes on. He said, what is you doing? I was trying to put some clothes on. I didn't know what to do. I basically was like, just in circles walking around, like, just thinking about what he said, And then eventually, as I was about to leave out the door to the room, when I turned around, he had money in his hand.
Could you tell us how much money he had?
I couldn't say what he had, but it was a bunch of 20s.
Okay. And what did you do with the money?
I don't know, because I left out the room.
Okay.
And then I went into the bathroom.
To clean the knife?
Yes.
And
I picked it up with whatever was near me. I just picked it up. I didn't pick it up by hand. I just picked it up with something.
And did he tell you how to clean the knife off?
He said take some bleach and clean it.
Did he ever come in and check on you to see how you were doing?
No.
And once you got the knife cleaned off, what did you do with it?
I went back to the room because Mom had got up and she was in the room up. And when I came out the bathroom, I had it covered,
Right.
Yeah. I covered it up, with what I had, I think it was a shirt I had, that I had picked it up with, and I had took it back in the room. And I didn't take it out the room until Mom's had left out, because Mom's was going somewhere. She was up and dressed.
When you say Mom, who do you mean?
Joyce.
Chucky's mother?
Yes, his mother.
And once you got the knife cleaned off, what did you do with it?
I took it in the kitchen,
And what did you do with it when you took it in the kitchen?
and I seen it was a spot missing right where the knives be inside the little thing, and I put it in that slot.
Okay. Yeah, in the kitchen, there was a knife holder?
Yes.
With other knives in it?
Yes.
And was there a knife missing from that knife?
Yes.
And you put the knife that you had cleaned into that slot?
Yes.
Okay. Let's back up for a second. When you told us that Chucky came in the bedroom and first you saw the knife, you said you also saw a game system, is that right?
Yeah, he threw a game system on the bed.
Where did he get the game system from? Did you see?
I don't know where he got it from. He just had it in his hand. He tossed it on the bed and said, "You wanted a game system? Here you go." I'm like, "I want the game system, you know."
Did he have it? Did you have a game system before that?
No.
The game system that he threw on the bed, what did you do with it? Or what happened?
He said put it up. He said put it up on the TV. I wiped it down because I touched the game. I wiped it. I was like, I want my hand on that stuff. I wiped it down and I put it in a bag and put it up under the TV in the container that was up under the TV. I just stuck it up under there.
You know where the game system came from?
No.
Okay. Approach witness, please, Judge.
No objection to 4, 5, 6 for exam purposes.
All right, 4, 5, and 6 will be received if they're being proposed by the people.
Yes, Your Honor, they are. Thank you.
4, 5, and 6 will be received.
Thank you. Would you look at People's Exhibit number 4, please? I'm going to move this, if that's all right. Would you tell us what People's Exhibit number 4 is, please?
On the microwave and with the knives at where I put the knife at.
In the kitchen at the apartment?
Yep, in the kitchen.
And if I ask you to look at People's Exhibit number 5, is that a picture of the knife block that had been in the kitchen?
Yes.
And you see it's got some letter labels that have been put on it so we can refer to the knives. If I ask you to look at People's Exhibit number 5, can you tell me by letter which knife it was that you put back in the block?
It was A.
Knife A?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And then if you look at People's Exhibit number 6, will you tell me what that is, please?
That's the game system he tossed on the bed, and I put it inside this thing right, that little bag right there.
The game system that Chucky tossed on the bed?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Judge, may I present these to the court, please?
Yes, you may publish them to the court. Thank you.
Was the defendant, Chucky that is, around this time, let me back up for a second. After washing the knife off, you put the knife in the butcher block, or the block that we looked at. What did the defendant do? Did he leave, or was
he was already, when I went to the bathroom, before I came out the bathroom, he had already came to the bathroom and said he was gone.
Okay.
So he had already left. When I came out the bathroom, he wasn't there.
Did he tell you where he was going?
No, he didn't tell me where he was going.
Okay. When you saw him with this money, these 20s you were talking about, did you see where he got the money from, where it came from, or was it just in his hand?
No, when I was leaving to go out the room, I just happened to turn back and look at him, and I seen money in his hand. So I couldn't tell you where he pulled it from or anything. I just know it was in his hand.
All right. And prior to that, I don't mean immediately, but at some time, is the defendant talking about needing money for any reason, money to move out or for anything else?
Yeah. The night before, he was saying that he needed money, and he was saying he was ready to get out of his mama's house. He was tired of being there, and he just said he needs some money.
Did you have any money to move out of the house?
No.
Were you working at the time?
At the time,
March 21st?
No, I wasn't working.
Was he working at the time, March 21st?
He wasn't working. I think he was already, I think they had already fired him, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
those are all the questions I have, Judge. Thank you.
Mr. Simona?
Ms. Stevens,
Yes,
you were married to Chucky Stevens for what, how many years?
2010,
And you've been with him for a long time,
since I was 14.
since you were 14. And initially, what happened was there was the police showing up on March the 21st over at the Somerset Apartments, am I right?
Yes,
And you were taken by the police to the Rochester Hill substation, were you not?
yes,
You voluntarily went there, right?
yes,
In fact, there was a Lieutenant Manica that you talked to, am I right?
yes,
And there was another officer by the name of Seed that you talked to, am I right?
yes,
And when they interviewed you for approximately 3 hours, didn't they?
yeah.
The first time, not the second time, the first time.
Talking about the first time at the house?
Yeah, the first time when they interviewed you at the substation, remember?
Yeah, I was interviewed a couple of times at the house. You know, they had asked me questions at the house, and then,
So when you were interviewed at the house, you didn't tell them all this, did you?
no.
In fact, you lied to them, didn't you?
Yeah, because this is what he told me to do. He told me not to, he said they was coming. He kept telling me they was going to come.
Well, so he wasn't there, but you intentionally lied to the police the first time, didn't you?
Yeah.
In fact, you misrepresented the facts, didn't you? That's what a lie is.
Yeah, I was told to say what I had to say. Yeah,
He wasn't there, so you lied.
yeah, that's what he told me to say.
Okay, and then what happened was, they took you to a different place and they interviewed you on March the 22nd, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
I mean, yes.
And they sat with you for maybe 3 hours, am I right? It's a long time.
Probably longer than that.
Okay, and when you sat there, you never told them that the first time that you were talking to them about him coming back and talking about killing 2 people, did you?
No.
In fact, again, you lied the second time, didn't you? Yes?
Yes.
In fact, you told according to you, you told them that he went to a job interview to load the phone.
That's what he told me to say.
That was a lie.
That was a lie.
Now, he wasn't there at the time, right?
No, he wasn't there.
It was you and the police.
It was just me and the police.
And then you told that you didn't hear from him until midnight, am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay, and that he called home about 2 o'clock in the morning and said he was on the way home, am I right?
Yes.
All that were lies.
No, he called. He called. He called. But I talked to him since then. I was talking to him way before then.
All right, but so to be clear, at the first interview, what you did was lie. Yes?
Yeah, I was scared for my stuff. Yes, I lied. Yes.
The second interview, you lied.
Yes.
And you were so scared for yourself, you simply just didn't call the police and say, hey, this happened, right?
No.
Okay, and then the second time, they come get you again, don't they?
Yeah, they came the next day.
They came the next day. And the second time, they sit you down and they scare you, don't they? The police do, don't they?
No, they didn't scare me. They wasn't saying nothing to scare me. They was telling me the facts. They was telling me that saying stuff and not admitting to what happened. Well, you know, that puts me in a situation, you know. And I had to think about it because the night before he threatened to kill me and his mama.
All right. So what happened is the police sit you down at the third interview, right?
Mm-hmm.
The third time, and they say, look, this is pretty serious, it's a homicide, all right? The police tell you that.
They always told me it was serious every time he talked to me.
And they said that you know more, am I right? The police told you that, you know more than you're telling us.
Yes.
And they told you that there's only so much they can do to keep you out of it. Didn't they?
Yes, I was told that.
And they were told you that it's only going to get harder for you if you don't tell us something. Isn't that right? Yes?
Yes, it will get harder, yeah.
And they kept telling you, I know you know more than you're telling us. Am I right?
And it was true.
And they said to you, you know, when we search your house, this is all going to point and be on you. Isn't that what they told you?
No.
Never told you about the search?
They never said it was going to point and be on me. No, they never said nothing like that. No.
Listen to the question. They tell you when they search your house, it's going to point to your apartment and you're not going to be excluded. Did the officer say that to you?
I don't know if it was said like that.
Well, you were aware that they were focusing in on you. Am I right?
No, I didn't feel that they was focusing on me.
Well, did they tell you that everything is pointing to you and your husband?
No, the person said nothing was pointing to me and my husband, no.
Did they tell you you're in big trouble unless you tell us something? That's what they basically told you, didn't they? didn't they?
No, it wasn't said like that. No.
The second time we had the interview, you were there for an hour and a half, am I right?
I thought I was there longer than that.
But before you start telling your story, the story you tell us today, they said to you, if you lie, you're going to get charged, am I right?
No, they say just tell the truth. And that's what I'm doing, telling the truth.
Did they ever tell you, the police ever tell you if you lie, you're going to get charged?
No.
Okay, did they ever tell you, we want to make sure that Mr. Stebbins doesn't pull you down, we don't want you taken down? Know that?
Yeah, they didn't want me to let my husband take me down with him, yeah.
Right, so then you began to tell a story, right?
Yeah.
And then the story is that there's just, he says, he comes back to the apartment, he says he just killed 2 people.
So shit just got real.
Right, shit just got real, he killed 2 people. Yes?
Yes.
Not 1 person, but 2
Yeah, he
people.
said 2.
2 people.
Yeah, he said 2. He said a man and a woman.
Man and a woman. And he pulled out a big-ass knife, as you said.
Yeah.
Gave it to you.
No, he didn't get it. He tossed it on the bed.
And you picked it up.
I didn't pick it right up.
But you picked it up.
Yes.
And he told you to take care of it.
Yes.
So what you did was you cleaned the knife.
That's what he told me how to clean it, yes.
And he told you how to clean it, and you put the knife back.
I waited till his mother had left. You know, I could have probably hid it anywhere, but I didn't know where to put it, so I went to the kitchen.
So the only one that was present during this conversation between you and Mr. Steffens was you and Mr. Steffens, supposedly, right?
That's it. That's the only person that was in the room with me, and his mama was in her room.
And the only one that was present when you supposedly cleaned the knife was you and Mr. Steffens.
Yes.
Okay. And the other one present when he supposedly says the guy put up a fight was you and Mr. Steffens.
Yeah, we was the only 2 in the room, and nobody else in the room.
So it was just you and him in the room.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
And this story is the 3rd story you tell, am I right?
If that's what you say, yeah.
Well, the first time you talked to the police, you didn't tell them any of this, did you?
Oh, no, because it was told not to say nothing. I stuck to what was said, and then after time went by, I was thinking more and more, and I said, why is I'm going to keep telling a story? I might as well just tell the truth. That's what I did. I told the truth.
The first time you told a lie, yes?
Yeah, I told a story.
The second time you told a lie, yes?
Yes.
Police don't like those 2 stories, yes? Because they picked you up the 3rd time.
Well, they didn't pick me up. They asked me, when I come down to the station. They didn't actually pick me up. They said, ask me, yeah.
They came and got you.
They came and asked me, could I come down there?
And you went there.
Yeah, I went. I ain't had no reason not to go.
And the 3rd time is when they started telling you how this stuff is really getting real, isn't that right? The police said that you're going to take yourself down unless you tell them the story.
It's the time they was telling me that the person was just hurt. He had already told me the person was dead, my husband. He said they was dead.
The police first told you the person was hurt. Yes?
Yes.
They told you the person was hurt the first time they had the interview, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
And then you lied at that time.
Yes, yes.
Then they interviewed you a second time.
Yes.
And you still lied the second time. Yes?
Yes.
In fact, you were there 3 hours the second time.
It was probably more than 3 hours.
Okay, and you stuck to your story, am I right?
Yes.
And then the 3rd time, you were brought back by the police, basically. For the first hour and a half, you stick to your story.
Yeah, I've been wanting to say my story. I wanted to tell the truth in the beginning, but my mind was still thinking about when my husband said, don't cross him.
Okay, and then the 3rd time, after they tell you about the homicide, yes? The 3rd time.
Yes. Yeah.
And they tell you that you got a problem too, is when you tell them the story, don't you?
Say that again.
Did they tell you if you lie, you're going to get charged? Didn't they tell you that?
I mean, of course, they said if I keep, if I continue on telling stories, yeah, but I had to go and just tell the truth. That's what I did.
If you kept telling stories, they're going to charge you till you tell them the story they want to hear, right?
Objection.
No.
I'll rephrase it. No further question. Oh, I have one other question. You were very scared of your husband?
Yes, I'm scared of my husband.
Are you afraid he was going to hurt you?
Yeah, the night before, he said he wanted to kill me and his mama because he was getting on his nerves.
Okay, and so when he made those...
I done called the police plenty of times on him.
Did you call the police the night he told you he was going to kill you?
No, but I called a couple, that week before I came back.
After he comes in supposedly with a knife and tells you he killed 2 people, and he leaves, am I right?
Yeah.
You're by yourself, yes?
Yeah.
You got a phone, yes?
Yeah, my mind wasn't thinking about nothing but what he said.
You know the police are there investigating a crime.
Yeah, I know. And then my heart was all messed up
Did you
then.
tell the police? Did you tell the police?
I didn't tell the police nothing.
Did you call the police?
No. But it ain't like I didn't want to.
And you're
It ain't
not,
like I didn't want to tell his mama either, but I kept everything inside me. It wasn't easy either.
so the answer is you didn't call the police?
No, I did not.
All right, and you're the one that cleaned the knife and hid it?
I didn't hide. I put it, when I went in the kitchen, it was a spot missing. I put it right there.
You put it there? Well, you didn't give it to the police, did you?
No,
No further questions?
no.
Nothing else, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you. You may step down. You're done.
If those are all witnesses you were going to use for this hearing or rest.
We have no witnesses for this hearing, Judge.
If I'm asked to bind the defendant over his charge, I'll reserve for your argument for rebuttal. Thanks.
The court's heard the testimony. I know the court is going to probably call it a credibility call with the wife, and the court will probably question the facts, but I don't believe they've met their burden showing that he was in fact the one that committed the break-in in the house.
Judge, I put the victim's property into the defendant's possession very shortly after the woman was brutally murdered. He takes it and he sells it. It certainly raises the inference, along with Ms. Steffen's testimony, that he killed a man and woman. He produced a big knife and the game station that was stolen from the apartment. It's clearly a question of fact, and so I just get one over based on that. Thank you.
All right, the court has listened to the sworn testimony. This is a hearing to determine whether or not sufficient evidence exists to hold the defendant for trial at the circuit court level. The charge is felony murder. The predicate to this would be some sort of act that amounts to a felony. And the court has heard testimony which would, by the probable cause standard that we're held to at this level, indicate that a felony was in fact committed, a larceny in a dwelling. It also appears that there was a homicide as described by the medical examiner. So the court finds that the elements have been established to the level of probable cause that the offense of felony murder was in fact committed. The second thing the court must determine is whether or not there's probable cause to believe that this defendant was the individual that committed the crime. The court finds that there is evidence, credible evidence, which it believed by a trier of fact would establish that this was the individual that committed this crime. So based on that, the court will bind the matter over to the circuit court on a charge of felony murder. Bond has been denied. That will continue until circuit court proceedings, such as the arraignment. We'll get you a date for the arraignment. We also have a sentencing matter that's up this morning.
I found out that I was appointed by, I guess, you to represent the sentencing.
I'll accept that responsibility, yes. Have you had a chance to read the
I've read the pre-sentence report with Mr. Steffens. They're recommending 93 days in jail relative to the misdemeanor.
which is the maximum.
Which is, the sentencing is actually moot based on the fact that he's been denied bond and he won't be tried within 93 days anyways.
So that's your opinion.
That's my opinion.
The legal advice to him is then, with respect to this matter, to proceed to the sentencing.
Correct.
Okay. Anything your client wishes to add?
No, he doesn't wish to add anything. Other than if he asks the court to sentence him.
The court does have a pre-sentence evaluation from the probation department. The probation department has recommended that he be sentenced to 93 days in the Oakland County Jail with credit for 1 day served on 2/23 of 16. So the court is going to adopt that recommendation. hereby the sentence of the court that you spend 93 days in jail with credit for 1 day, balance to be served. Get in jail.
Thank you.
Yes, if you will approach, and I guess if the media people want to break down or whatever, you're free to do so. That's why we wait till the prisoner gets up, so we don't get tangled up.